research, how to write research proposals, and research papers for publication in reputed journals. Today is the second day of this international virtual faculty development program on research methodology organized by our college, Kamla Nehru Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. It is started from yesterday, 2nd May, and will remain continue up to 7th May 2022. It is my immense pleasure to welcome on this occasion Honorable Dr. Srimati Suhasini Vanjari, President, Amar Seva Mandal, Nagpur, whose guidance and blessings are always remain with us. I would like to welcome Honorable Advocate Abhijit Vanjari, MLC of Maharashtra and Secretary, Amar Seva Mandal, Nagpur, whose dynamic leadership always gives us constant inspiration to arrange such programs. I would like to welcome Honorable Dr. Smita Vanjari, Senate Member, Management Council, RTM, Nagpur University, Nagpur, and Treasurer, Amar Seva Mandal, Nagpur, who always remain with us. Now I welcome our Principal, Dr. Dilip Badwaik sir, and Vice Principal, Dr. Pradeep Daikar, for their cooperation to organize this faculty development program. I would like to welcome today's resource person, sorry. I would like to welcome today's resource person, Professor N.B. Singh, Sharda University, Greater Noida, and also welcome convener of this faculty development program, Dr. Vasudev Gurnole. I would like to welcome all the participants from various institutions of various places in India and abroad. Now, I would like to give brief introduction of today's speaker, Professor N.B. Singh. Professor N.B. Singh was former head Department of Chemistry and Dean Faculty of Science, DDU Gorakhpur University, Gorakhpur. He is presently Emeritus Professor at Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry and Research Development Cell, Sharda University, Greater Noida, UP. Dr. Singh has been teaching PG and UG classes in chemistry for last 50 years. Dr. Singh was postdoctoral fellow at Free University of Brussels, Belgium during 1973 to 74 and received most prestigious Alexander von Humboldt Fellowship of Germany in 1977. He has worked at Technical University, HN, University of Clausthal, University Kassel, and Technical University Dortmund, Germany. His main area of research are solid state chemistry, material science, cement chemistry, thermodynamics, and water purification. Professor Singh was president of Indian Association for Solid State Chemists and Allied Scientists from 2013 to 2015 and received many awards. Professor Singh has published more than 300 research papers, 8 books, and written 50 book chapters published by Elsewhere, Springers, like reputed publications. He has supervised 41 PhD students. Professor Singh is UGC nominee in advisory committee for DSA program in chemistry of JNV University, Jodhpur. Professor Singh has Google citation about 7,500, I10 index about 150, and H index 36. His topic of today's speech is different aspects of scientific research.
The recording has stopped.
Now, I invite Professor N.B. Singh, sir, for his talk. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Uppalwar.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm extremely happy to be associated with this program, and I congratulate the organizer of this event, Dr. Gurunavile. He always tries to organize such activity in his college, and he deserves all appreciation from my side, and I hope from you also. Is it visible? This slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Visual. Your slide is visible.
And full screen.
Yes, sir. Full screen. Okay.
Now, as Dr. Uppalwar has pointed out, that the title of my talk is Different Aspects of Scientific Research. Although it is not limited to scientific research, it can be extended to research in the other discipline also. Now, you see that research is also a type of education, type of training, which everyone should have. Whether he is a literate, whether the person is literate or illiterate, doesn't matter. Child or grown up, doesn't matter. It can be done by anybody of any group, age group, any discipline, literate or illiterate. So let me first say how the education is related to research. Education helps people to become better citizens, shows the difference between good and bad. It shows the importance of hard work, and at the same time helps us grow and develop. Thus, we are able to shape a better society to live in by knowing and respecting rights, laws, and regulations. On the other hand, higher education develops the essential skills you will need in your career and working life: communication, organization, time management, teamwork, leadership, problem solving, increased earning potential. Having a degree makes you more attractive to employers. You will have a greater choice of jobs and you will earn more. These are the benefits of education, and particularly higher education. India has a rich tradition of education, particularly right from the antiquity. These were handed over generations to generations, either through oral or written medium. A single feature of ancient Indian civilization is that it has been molded and shaped in the course of its history more by religious than by political or economic influences. Indian educational system was developed in terms of the needs of the individual and that of the society, and therefore its effervescence was natural. It had a definite ideal and definite mission. The ancient Indian teachers evolved a special form of education whereby harmony was established between materialism and spiritualism, and human life thus headed towards greater perfection. Knowledge in ancient India was compiled by Vedavyas in the form of Vedic mantras into four books known as four Vedas: the Rig Veda, Atharvaveda, the Samveda, and the Yajurveda. Education is a platform in which young generations are trained and make them future ready. Education provides knowledge and skills which help the person to be employable. According to Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. We are in a knowledge driven economy which is linked with science and technology. Now, without innovative science, nothing can develop. Now, the university education is changing and changed to a large extent. The higher education system in India has grown in a remarkable way, particularly in the post-independence period, to become one of the largest systems of its kind in the world. Recognizing the above and basic fact that the universities have to perform multiple roles like creating new knowledge, acquiring new capabilities, and producing an intelligent human resource pool through challenging teaching, research, and extension activities so as to balance both the need and the demand. I used to say very often that in higher education institution, the job of the teachers is twofold: to create knowledge and to disseminate knowledge. Creation of knowledge can be done only through good quality research. Now, imagine for research, one must have imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, but imagination encircles the world. Every failure is a step to success. Swami Vivekananda has said, take risk in your life. If you win, you may lead, but if you fail, you may guide. Believe in yourself and all that you are. Know that there is something inside you that is greater than any obstacle. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So same is true with research also. Nobody knows you, but one day if you discover something new for which you get the Nobel Prize, then the whole world knows. Always believe that you can do it. All the above are linked with research. Research is our prestige. Never compromise on on your core values. Excellence is not a destination but a journey. Creativity and innovation sometimes need inspiration from other disciplines. Excellence and creativity go hand in hand. There is a thin line of difference between confidence and arrogance. Confident people are always open to learn, whereas arrogance, on the other hand, stops learning. Now, if you want to do good quality research, then set a goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, and reach to the goal. Now, you must discover what you are made for, and you must work to achieve excellence in your field of endeavor. So, in research also, you should do good quality research. And this statement was given by Martin Luther King. The goal in life is to make the effort to do the best you are capable of doing. Don't measure yourself by what you have accomplished, but by what you should have accomplished with your ability. The effort is what counts in everything. Now, the above principle should also be followed in research. When we say research, always try to do something new. Now the question is, why research? There was a time when studies were knowledge oriented, but now the things are changing and changing fast. It has now become career oriented. However, there should be a balance between the two. Today we have knowledge driven economy all over the world. The challenge before us as we continue to forge ahead in the knowledge driven regime of today is to transform our human capital into knowledge capital for rapid economic development, creation of wealth, well being of our people, and for playing an important role in world affairs. Higher education institutions, particularly our universities, are the main instrument for transforming our human resources into human capital. Today, we are living in a dynamic world where time domains and geography are rapidly shrinking, but space and opportunities are expanding with competition and innovations as the key driver. We have also witnessed remarkable advances in science and technology, which have greatly fueled the economic growth in a rapidly globalizing world. We are in an age of transition, and things are changing so fast that many people feel insecure. It is an age of progress. Progress means change, and we all need greater flexibility of mind and preparedness to face all changes while retaining our faith in that which do not change. Adaptability is essential to meet the challenge of our era, the era of science and technology, with both wisdom and courage. Science has given us vast knowledge, and this knowledge has brought us immense power. The backbone for a sustainable development is to understand thoroughly what is going on, and for this, one has to do research. Research seeks answers to different questions, that is, what, why, how, and there are many more questions, and the answer of these questions can be obtained only through good quality research. In the future, we will not be able to compete on the world stage with low labor costs or by exploiting vast reserves of mineral resources. We will have to compete with our brains and with our science, and this requires a lot of information and innovation. So one has to do innovative research. Research is the transformation of money into knowledge, whereas innovation is the transformation of knowledge into money. Say, for example, I'll give a quote. Uh, After doing a lot of research, we could develop telephone or mobile phone. But now you see that once you receive the knowledge, now you use mobile in different form. You add different apps, innovate it, make different options. You earn a lot of money through those mobile phones. So innovation is the transformation of knowledge into money. In general, research, particularly innovative research, has been identified as a prerequisite for meaningful industrial and socio-economic development. Now the question is, what is innovation or what is innovative research? Something new, something different, something better, something cheaper, do at different location, do in different right time frame. Uh, I did my PhD with a great scientist, Professor R.P. Rastogi. Now he is no more in this world. He used to say, even a single new word in your research paper will matter a lot. And that is nothing but innovation. Innovation, education, and research process, they are linked together like this triangle. So knowledge triangle, three legs rather than three nodes. Now the next question is, what is research? The systematic, rigorous investigation of a situation or problem in order to generate new knowledge or validate existing knowledge. Any honest attempt to study a problem systematically or to add to man's knowledge of a problem may be regarded as research. The aim, as far as I can see, is the same in all sciences. Put simply and curiously, the aim is to make known something previously unknown to human beings. It is to advance human knowledge, to make it more certain or better fitting. The aim is, as I have said, discovery or something new. Research is a logical and systematic search for new and useful information and a particular topic. It is an investigation of finding solutions to scientific and social problems through objective and systematic analysis. It is a search for knowledge, that is a discovery of hidden truth. Here, knowledge means information about matters. A research can lead to new contribution to the existing knowledge. Only through research it is possible to make progress in a field. Research is indeed civilization and determines the economic, social, and political development of a nation. The results of scientific research very often force a change in the philosophical view of problems, which extend far beyond the restricted domain of science itself. The information might be collected from different sources like experience, human being, books, journal, nature, etc. Study in depth is research. Now the answer of the question, what is research? Study in depth is research. Research is about exploration, discovery, and curiosity. Research is all about the question, your own question, your reader's question, your question that lead to more questions, systematically collecting and analyzing information to meet the questions of the problem under study is termed as research. Research attempts to explore hidden facts about something, makes way for discovery and perhaps invention, which culminates to industrial and socio-economic development. Research has not only become instrumental to development in different spheres of human endeavor, but also proactive as the major parameter for solving human problems. Searching for answers to basic questions, be it science, social science, or art. Now, the next question is, who is a researcher? First question is, why research? Second question is, what is the research? And the third question is, who is a researcher? One who is keen in learning, knowing about something that interests him or her. A researcher must acknowledge that she knows very little and there is so much to learn, urge to learn more. Non-judgmental, open-hearted attitude towards research. Now, on point 4, I would like to mention one correct story. I will not name the person. There was a professor long back who always used to foresee that if this type of reaction is carried out, this type of product will be formed. Now, one of his students was doing PhD with him. The supervisor used to insist that you should get this product, but the boy did not get it. So he was very upset because he was doing PhD. So he purchased the chemical from the market and put into the reaction system and showed the professor that now he got it. Professor was very happy. The paper was published in a good journal. Some Americans were also doing in the same field. When they saw the paper, they invited the supervisor to give a lecture. But the supervisor did not go. The student went there. Then he said that, sir, we could get there, but I'm not getting here. This particular mistake, because of this particular mistake, that professor lost his Nobel Prize. So you should never be having foresighted that this will be obtained. You can guess, but never be judgmental. Giving priority to truth and research before your personal comfort and convenience, having patience and perseverance. Complete commitment to research area. When you are, particularly for a PhD student, when you are going to do PhD after doing a lot of homework, a lot of consultation, once you decide that you want or you should work on this particular topic, then you should have a complete commitment to research area. Why? Once you have zeroed down on a particular area of research, you must be totally committed to that topic and stop moving around in different areas of research. This is important because as you go deeper and deeper into one particular field of research, your line of thinking develops in a particular way, and the moment you change your field, your thinking has to again realign with that new area. For example, if you want to dig a well for water, then you need to dig deep at one place, not small pits at many places. The same way, you need to focus on your research area rather than just moving around. Research is not only doing and finding new things or discovery, but it is a training how to tackle a new problem. Make research your journey and not just your goal. Now, in research, as I just pointed out earlier, there are a number of questions: what, when, where, who, how, why, and many more questions. And in research, you have to answer these questions in a systematic way. In order to solve the problem or in order to answer the questions, you have to develop certain hypotheses. Hypothesis is nothing but an educated guess. So, what is hypothesis? This is an educated guess based upon observation. It is a rational explanation of a single event or phenomena based upon what is observed but which has not been proved. A hypothesis is basically an educated guess. It is possible answer to the problem or question. Now you see that when you make a guess, it may be correct, it may be incorrect. So your hypothesis may be verified or your hypothesis may be falsified. So a hypothesis is testable and falsifiable. A hypothesis is an explanation for a phenomenon which can be tested in some way, which ideally either proves or disproves the hypothesis. For the duration of the testing, the hypothesis is taken to be true, and the goal of the researcher is to rigorously test the terms of the hypothesis. When the hypothesis passes the test, it is adopted as a theory or thesis as it correctly explains a range of phenomena, but it can at any time be falsified by new experimental evidences. Now, there are different sources for developing a hypothesis: theoretical or conceptual framework, previous research work, instrumental and personal experience, academic literature. So these are some of the things based on which you can develop your hypothesis. Different type of hypotheses are known: simple and complex hypothesis, associative and causal hypothesis, directional and non-directional hypothesis, null and research hypothesis. Directional hypothesis. It specifies not only the existence but also the expected direction of the relationship between variables. Directional hypothesis states the nature of the relationship between two or more variables, such as positive, negative, or no relationship. To express the direction of relationship between variables, the direction terms are used to state the hypothesis, such as positive, negative, less, more, increased, decreased, greater, higher, lower, etc. in the hypothesis you can express in these terminologies. Non-directional hypothesis. It reflects the relationship between two or more variables, but it does not specify the anticipated direction and nature of relationship, such as positive or negative. It indicates the existence of relationship between the variables. For example, there is a relationship between years of nursing experience and job satisfaction among the nurses. So one type of relationship is there. Associative hypothesis. It reflects a relationship between variables that exist in natural settings without manipulation. This hypothesis is used in correlational research studies. It predicts a relationship among the variables, but not the type of relationship. Causal hypothesis. It predicts the cause and effect relationship, because in you see that in medicine, medical science, we always to correlate what is the cause of the disease and what type of effect it has given to the patient. In a similar way, in causal hypothesis, it predicts the cause and effect relationship between two or more dependent and independent variables in experimental or interventional setting, where independent variables is manipulated by research to examine the effect on the development variables. The causal hypothesis reflects the measurement development variable to examine the effect of development variables, which is manipulated by the researcher or researchers. Null hypothesis. It is very important. It is also known as statistical hypothesis and is used for statistical testing and interpretation of statistical outcomes. It states the existence of no relationship between the independent and dependent variable. Research hypothesis H1, that is null hypothesis H1, it states the existence of relationship between two or more variables. Now next is research design. You have to formulate the whole program, that is you have to make a design so that you can proceed ahead. Now good research design is the first rule of good research. Decisions regarding what, where, when, how much, by what means concerning an inquiry or a research study constitute a research design. Good research practice begins with problem selection and research design. Say, for example, you are doing for work for the PhD degree, then two factors or other factors also we'll discuss later on. Choice of the problem and formulating that problem, that is making a design how to proceed, is very important. The proposed research should address questions, the answers to which will contribute new knowledge, solve challenges, correct errors in the existing literature, or develop new methods for conducting such research. A good research design involves having a well-documented plan outlining the objectives, roles, and responsibilities. Research builds upon the work of others, which must be properly identified and their contributions appropriately acknowledged. It locates the proposed research in the broader research landscape, provides insight into identifying data sources and research methods, and lays out a rigorous and systematic approach in analyzing and synthesizing the evidence to support the research claim. Knowledge of the needed research design allows advanced planning so that the project may be conducted in less time and typically at a cost saving due to effectiveness gain in the pre-planning. Now here you see that there are certain questions which are taken into consideration while designing making a research design. What is the study about? Why is the study being made? Where will the study be carried out? Where can the required data be found? How will the data be analyzed? What techniques of data collection will be used? What periods of time will the study include? What will be the sample design? All these questions are taken into account while making a research design. Now, there are various types of research: descriptive research, exploratory research, analytical research, applied research, basic research, quantitative research, qualitative research, conceptual research, non-scientific methods or non-scientific methodological research. Now, what is the significance of research? According to famous Hudson maxim, all progress is born of inquiry. Doubt is often better than overconfidence, for it leads to inquiry, and inquiry leads to invention. It brings out the significance of research, increased amount of which makes progress possible. Research encourages scientific and inductive thinking, besides promoting the development of logical habits of thinking and organization. Now, if you are doing a PhD, then the next question comes, what is the PhD? What is the meaning of PhD? The full form of PhD often is written as Doctor of Philosophy, abbreviated as PhD, PhD, DPhil or DPhil for the Latin Philosophia, Doctor or Doctor Philosophia. In English-speaking countries, is a postgraduate academic degree awarded by universities. You see that in English-speaking countries, this degree is considered to be a postgraduate degree, and most of the countries give you degree Ph.D. As far as I know, in the entire world, Allahabad University is the only university which gives DPhil. Of course, all are equivalent, but the terminology DPhil for PhD is given so far, so I know, is given by Allahabad University. Otherwise, all other English-speaking countries, they award PhD degree. And one more thing I would like to mention at this point is PhD is just, in most of the countries, it is just given PhD. When your thesis is approved, no grading system is there. But as far as I know, Germany is the only country where grading system is given for the PhD. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Grade 4 is the lowest identification. I will tell one of my experience in Germany. Few years back, I was in Germany, and the professor with whom I was associated, he came to me and said that there is a student from some African country and he wants to do PhD, but he doesn't listen what the professor suggests. I asked him that you send to me. I tried to explain and convince that you must follow certain norms, certain standards. He said, no, in his country, there's no standard, no norm. So he wants to do accordingly. I said, if you want to do accordingly, then why did you come to Germany? Anyway, then I asked the professor, why do you take such a student who doesn't understand the meaning of research? Then he said, no, he did not take it. Because of some governmental agreement, the student has come. And so, if degree is awarded, he will be given grade 4. Grade 4 is just a pass, but for them it is equivalent to fail. With grade 4 PhD degree, he will never get any job in Germany. In his country, whatever he likes, he can get. So Germany, as far as I know, is the only country where PhD is by grading, grade 1, 2, 3, 4. The academic level of degree known as Doctorates of Philosophy varies considerably according to the country, institution, and the time period, from entry-level research degrees to higher doctorates. Now, in many prestigious institutions, even in India, the duration, quality, conditions are different than many other universities. A person who attends a doctorate may be referred as a doctor. That is, if you got a PhD degree, doctor word will be added before your name. Now the question comes, if you are a student of chemistry, why it is not written PhD or doctor in chemistry? It is written doctor in philosophy. What is the meaning? Now the meaning of the word philosophy doesn't belong to the discipline of philosophy, because philosophy is one of the subject of social science, but here philosophy doesn't belong to that discipline, but it is used in a broader sense. It is a Greek word, and the Greek meaning of philosophy is love of wisdom. So the word philosophy here means love of wisdom. Love and pursuit of wisdom by intellectual means and moral self-discipline. Investigation of the nature, causes, or principles of reality, knowledge, or values based on logical reasoning rather than empirical methods. The critical analysis of fundamental assumptions of belief, a set of ideas or beliefs relating to a particular field or activity and underlying theory, general laws or principles under which all the subordinate phenomena or facts relating to that subject are comprehended. This is the meaning of the philosophy. Now, in different universities, the process of doing PhD slightly varies, but in the university system, the whole PhD program is governed by the guidelines of the University Grants Commission. Now, here I would like to clarify that universities are autonomous institutions, so UGC can give only suggestions. They can't force, but indirectly they can force also. Say, for example, if they are modifying the courses, implementing something new, and the university doesn't follow that, then they may say that they are not going to recognize the degree of this university for this particular course. So every university almost incorporates the suggestions given by the University Grants Commission. In 2016, University Grants Commission issued a detailed guideline for doing PhD to different universities. And in Sharda University, we have something more tougher conditions for from admission level to the final degree. Now, admission is through entrance test. It is almost mandatory for all the universities. Then one has to do coursework, pre-PhD coursework, from varying from 12 credit to 18 credit. You can either take 12 credit, 16 credit, 14 credit, up to 18 credit, or even you can take more. After that, to test the knowledge of the student, in Sharda University, we have comprehensive Viva examination. Then we ask the candidate to submit a research plan. That is, we have a format, and the candidate is allowed to write the research plan. That is, introduction. Introduction include a part of literature survey, then status of the research at the national level, status of the research at international level. This also includes the literature survey. Then what are the research questions? What are the research gaps? What are the research objectives? What are the methodologies to be used? And what is your expected outcome. All these are to be included in our research plan, and the candidate has to present before a committee, and if the research plan is approved, then the candidate is registered in the PhD program. Almost similar type of formalities, I would say, is followed in most of the universities. And for each student, as per UGC guideline and which Sharda University have followed, there should be a doctoral research committee for each student, and the doctoral research committee uh, examines the progress report, 6 monthly progress report of the candidate. Criteria of submission of the thesis, we have certain criteria. Minimum period required for the submission of thesis is 3 years from the date of admission, 2 years from the date of registration, then the candidate is eligible, provided the candidate has published 3 research papers in Scopus or SCI Index Journal and has attended or participated in 2 national or international level conferences. Then he can submit the thesis. There will be 3 examiners. One examiner will be from any Indian university. Second examiner will be from any universities abroad, and third examiner will be the supervisor. If unanimous reports come, recommendation, then the degree is awarded to the candidate after Viva OC examination. Otherwise, depending on the report, the things may change. Another degree which is not done just like PhD is DSc or DLE, Doctor of Science. Now, Latin Scientia Doctor, this meaning, usually abbreviated SCD, DSc, SD, or Dr. SC, is an academic research degree awarded in a number of countries throughout the world. Generally, the DSc is a higher doctorate awarded in recognition. Similarly, DLit is Doctor of Letters, you can say, and honoris causa degree is also awarded for reputed personalities in different areas by different universities. Some key questions during PhD. When you are doing a PhD, there are certain questions which the candidate must take into consideration. How to do scientific research, how to plan and manage a research project, how to publish results, is it important, how to plan my thesis, how are research results assessed. If you are doing research for PhD degree, a suitable supervisor is needed. It is, I would say that here at this stage, if you have worked with a Nobel laureate and you are going anywhere, then normally you will not tell your name first. You will say that you have worked for PhD degree with so and so Nobel laureate. So it means by the quality of the Nobel laureate, you will be recognized. So choice of a supervisor is very important if you are going to do a PhD degree. One of the most critical decisions, it is an expert supervisor, is an expert in the area you selected. You have to see it. Is internationally recognized in the area, is well connected in the international scientific arena, is willing and able to promote your work at conferences and the alike, is active research publications wise, has previous supervision experience, is interested in the topic you selected, can provide research facilities, is willing to fight the system for you. Will you be integrated in a group? Do you want to have a co-supervisor? Personal chemistry. So before you choose a supervisor, you must see all these qualities in the supervisor. Relationship with the supervisor. What qualities should be in the supervisor? Scientific and methodological guidance, suggestions and assessment, reassurance support, policing, technical writing, resources, hosting project, contact, social networking. Now today, social networking has also become very important. Facilitator to assess scientific channels, experience, mentor, friend, confident, advisor, and also a voice of reason. But at the same time, the student must also possess certain qualities: hardworking, enthusiastic, labor resources, generation of experimental results, contribution to publication, contribution to project proposal at a later stage. That is, the student should have also all these qualities. The thesis must be what should be the PhD thesis? The thesis must be a substantial original contribution to the knowledge or understanding of any field of study and demonstrate the capacity of the candidate to conceive, design, and carry to completion independent research. The doctoral candidate should uncover new knowledge either by the discovery of new facts, the formulation of theories, or the innovative reinterpretation of known data and established ideas. In particular, the thesis should demonstrate that the candidate has surveyed literature relevant to the thesis, what we say literature survey, skills in gathering analysis of information report presentation, demonstrated a critical, perceptive, and constructive analysis of the subject, carried out original and significant research in the field. So your PhD thesis must address all these things which I have just. What is the objective of PhD thesis or PhD? The PhD degree is awarded to those candidates that show the capacity for a systematic understanding of his or her specialization area, skills and clear mastery of the engineering research methods, autonomous capacity for conceiving, designing, adopting, and realizing significant research as autonomous researcher or member of a team, respecting the usual academic levels of quality, rigor, and integrity, aptitude for contributing to widen the knowledge frontier through the publication in selected international conferences and or scientific journals with peer reviewing, capacity to analyze with a critical spirit, to evaluate and to synthesize new and complex release in a context of fast technological and socio-organizational change, capacity to communicate with his her peers and academic community as well as the society in general, both at national and international level regarding his her specialization area, capacity to promote both in the academic and professional context the technological, socio-economic, and cultural progress after under framework of a knowledge and collaboration based society. That is, if you have got a PhD degree, you must have the capability of all these things which I have just mentioned. Now, how the research start? Curiosity. You have certain curiosity to know, and that is a basic research. This curiosity leads to amount of knowledge. That is, when you are doing basic research for satisfying your curiosity, it leads to knowledge. And this amount of knowledge is responsible for applied research. And this applied research advances the technology. Here at this stage, I will just mention, you know that Albert Einstein, Nobel laureate Albert Einstein, is a great scientist. Many of you might be knowing that he got a Nobel Prize for his theory of relativity. No. Albert Einstein got the Nobel Prize for his discovery that when a beam of light falls on the surface of a metal, photons are ejected. That was his discovery, and he made formulation and other things. So that was simply for increasing the knowledge, basic knowledge. But now today, that knowledge is being used for conversion of solar energy into electric energy. The same basic principle which was given by Albert Einstein is now today being used to convert solar energy into electrical energy. So this basic knowledge leads to applied research, and applied research is responsible for advancement of technology. Now, this advancement of technology, application oriented, utility application. When you develop certain technology, then you try to make certain product, and then that is of utility. And this utility leads to quality of life. Say, for example, if you know the basic principle of mobile phone, you manufactured or you developed a device which is mobile phone, and with the help of mobile phone you see that how simple, how better your life has become. Now, steps in carrying research: choice of a problem, review of literature, hypothesis, methodology, collection of data, interpretation of data, conclusion. These are the different steps when are to be followed when you are doing research work for your PhD degree. Now, choice of problem. Ask significant questions that can be answered empirically. The formulation of a problem is often more essential than its solution, which may be merely a matter of mathematical or experimental skill. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old questions from a new angle requires creative imagination, makes real advance in science. The research questions must be asked in a way that allows for empirical investigations. Now, you have to ask a number of questions for choosing a problem. Where do we go from here? You are just a beginner and you want to start your PhD. So you have to think from here, from the beginning, where you will go, what your research will lead. So where do we go from here? Research problem is like an identification of destination before undertaking research journey. That is, when you choose a problem, you must think what result you are going to get and what are the benefits of doing this research on this particular topic, what advantage you will be having by doing research on this particular topic. So you see that if you choose a conventional topic which everybody is doing, then very little advantage, because in the market there are thousands and millions of the people on that particular topic. But if you choose a topic which has not been taken by many, it means it is a difficult topic and a lot of new information you may get by doing research on that topic. So you have a better scope in the market. Now, sources of research problems. Where from you can get the problems? Practical experience, daily problems, previous research if you have done, existing theories, technological changes, unexplored area, discussion with supervisor, theory of one's own interest. Considerations in selecting a research problem: you must consider all these things: your own interest, magnitude, concept measures, expertise, relevance, data availability, and ethics. All these should be taken into consideration when you choose a problem. Now, formulation of a research problem, how will you do that? Identify broad field of subject area of your interest, dissect the broad area into sub area, select what is the most interested to you, raise the research question, formulate the objective, assess your objectives, and double check for sufficient interest. Of course, at this stage, you discuss with your supervisor, you discuss with your colleagues and friends, you discuss with the people who know the subject well, better than you. Now, as I pointed out, in order to choose a particular topic, you have to do a literature survey. The purpose of literature survey is what has been done on this particular topic, what has not been done on this particular topic, what is still to be done on this particular topic, whether the work which is reported in the literature is well documented, done in a proper way, or it requires certain modifications. So, literature survey is a must, and it is one of the most important components for doing any type of research, whether for a PhD student, non-PhD student. Now, I would say at this stage one thing. As a PhD student, you must do literature survey. Now, there is a difference between doing a PhD and doing a research. Now, what is the difference? Now, this research can be done by any layman who doesn't even know to write his or her name, doesn't know to write any alphabet. But for PhD, there is a certain requirement, certain process, certain academic degree, certain statutory provision. Unless and until you are having a master degree, you will not be allowed for PhD admission. But let us say, take a case of a mechanic. Maybe he or she is illiterate, but may be doing some wonderful job. I would just tell you one joke which I have read in the newspaper long back, which relates to a research. American President Clinton, it is a joke, don't consider that it is a fact. American President Clinton visited India when late Atal Bihari Vajpayee was our Prime Minister. He came with his big car. Now you see that when American President is coming with his car, what type of car it would be. And he said that he wants to visit India by his car, not by plane or by any other thing. So he started. So after going 1,000, 2,000 kilometers, some fault came into the car. The driver went to the mechanic. Mechanic said, "Sir, we don't have a spare part, but if you like, we can rectify it by some jugaad." He rectified. During the entire journey, such type of happened 2-3 times. Now when he came back and he wanted to go back to United States, our Prime Minister went to visit him and said that you are a president of such a nation, you have everything. We want to give you something as a present which you should remember. Then the president said, of course he has everything. He wants only one thing which he doesn't have. Then he asked, what is that? Then he said, that jugaad technology. You see that Jugaad technology is nothing but a type of innovative research which the mechanic could do. Educated persons, highly educated researchers in America, they don't know that Jugaad technology. So even a layman who doesn't know even alphabet can be a wonderful researcher. So there is a basic difference between doing a research and doing a PhD. Now, checklist for information for scientific literature review. Is the information reliable? You can't take the information from all the sources. You can't believe the news in the newspaper. It may be correct, it may be incorrect. From magazines which are sold at the railway station, it may be just a story to make it better, not reliable. So is the information reliable? Is the information error-free? Is the information factual? Is the information verifiable? What are the professional credentials of the authors? Does the author have the subject matter expertise on the topic? Is the information relevant? Is a clear distinction made between facts and opinions? Is the information biased? Is the information current? Does the information meet current needs? Does the information provide in-depth coverage? All these questions you have to keep in your mind. Now, for literature review, the questions that can be answered by literature review are: what are the major issues and debate about the research problem? From literature review, you can answer these. Are there gaps in knowledge of the subject? How can I bridge the gap? What directions, methodology are indicated by the work of other researchers? What are the key theories, concepts, and ideas known about the subject? What is the chronology of the development of knowledge about the research problem? Whether the research question already has been answered by someone else? All these are the questions which will assist you in literature survey, and you can pick up only those part of that literature which is needed for your research work. Now, what is literature review? An overview of previous research in your research topic. A literature review is an evaluative report of studies found in the literature related to your selected area. A comprehensive review of all published research that is relevant to your proposed investigation and guided by your research objective. The review should describe, summarize, evaluate, and clarify this literature. It should give a theoretical basis for the research and help you determine the nature of your own research. While the form of the literature review may vary with different types of studies, the basic purpose remains constant: a systematic method for identifying, evaluating, and interpreting the work produced by researchers, scholars, and practitioners. Without it, you will not acquire an understanding of your topic, of what has already been done on it, how it has been done research, and what the key issues are. That is, the research literature research review is very essential for any PhD student to know what has been done, what has been not done, what has been done in a wrong way, or all these related questions. Before we can create new knowledge, we must first know the current state of knowledge about research subject. Effective researcher will use knowledge and insights of others and draw on elements of prior research. In the literature review, the task is to learn as much as you can from the efforts and work of others, which is published in the scientific literature. Convey the depth and breadth of research that has been accomplished on a subject, identify important issue and link to hypotheses. Identify key areas of missing knowledge, describe methodologies and existing data sets used, helps you learn everything about your subject, ensures that you are not reinventing the wheel, help you learn about the people in the field, highlight flaws in previous research, outline gaps in previous research, so that the work is adding to the understanding and knowledge of the field, help refine, refocus, or even change the topic. After doing literature survey, you can modify, refine, redefine, or even you can change the topic. What are the questions which you should keep in mind while assessing the literature review? What is known about the subject? Are there any gaps in the knowledge of the subject? Have areas of further study been identified by other researchers that you may want to consider? Who are the significant research personalities in this area? Is there consensus about the topic? What aspects have generated significant debate on the topic? What methods or problems were identified by others studying in the field, and how might they impact your research? What is the most productive methodology for your research based on the literature you have reviewed? What is the current status of research in this area? What sources of information or data were identified that might be useful to you? All these things you must take into consideration. Now, the question is how to do a literature review. Define the research topic first, compile and prioritize a list of keywords. Keywords, just a single word, and if you just search that word, you may find related topic. Identify sources of information, read, evaluate, analyze all the work, discuss findings and conclusions with others, important for understanding context gap in previous research, divide work into supportive and antithetical positions, identify relationship between works in the literature, articulate how these apply to your research. Not all literature should be included in the review, only scientific literature. This is literature which has been through a peer review process. This includes professional journals, formal research reports, university affiliated bulletin reports and monographs. Also includes similar publications by research foundations and international organizations. There are certain pitfalls in the literature review. What are the pitfalls? I'll just mention. If you have collected the information from non-reliable journals, then it may lead to a lot of misinformation. So always try to avoid that. What are the search aid or search engine? Books. You read the books in the library, journals, conference papers, dissertation, bibliographies, maps, internet, indexes, abstract, printed, electronic databases, government publications, theses, interviews, and other unpublished research. Number of things are available from which you can have a literature survey. Now, I would like to mention here, when I was a PhD student at that time, neither internet nor such type of things were available. In chemistry, we used to have chemical abstract and hard copy of the journal. So we used to take nearly 1 year for abstracting. Now today, you can complete that within a week or within a month from the internet. So that big difference is there. All these are. What are journal metrics? You must consult the important journal, reliable journals. So how do you decide? Journal metrics measure the performance and or impact of a scholarly journal. Maybe here I have not written, but journals which are indexed in Scopus or SCI having high impact factor are considered to be good journals, reliable journals. So you always try to consult. Of course, for knowledge you can consult anything, but from reliability point of view, you must take into consideration Scopus Index Journal, SCI Index Journal, or high impact journal. Each metric has its own particular features, but in general, they all aim to provide ranking and insight into journal performance based on citation and review. They start from the basic premise that a citation to a paper is a form of endorsement, and the most basic analysis, number of citations determines the impact factor. So higher the impact factor, better the journal. So as I said, you must consult only those journals. Here, there are 8-step model which you should follow when you are doing research for PhD degree. Formulating a research question, of course, there are different components: research design, instruments for data collection, selecting a sample, research protocol, writing data collection, data processing, research report, all are different, having different components. So these are the different models or 8-step model for carrying out the research from beginning till publication of your thesis. Research is hard. All research involves risk. If your project can't fail, it is development, not research. Along your career, you will accumulate a lot of failures. Even the apparently successful researcher accumulate many failures. Research always takes much longer than it initially seemed. Crucial to success is making your research part of your everyday life. Think about your research in background mode all the time. You'll find that your rate of progress seems to vary a lot from one day to other day. Fear of failure can make work hard and discourage you. So never be afraid of failure. Think that at this stage you are aiming a PhD, not a Nobel Prize at this time. So you work hard and ultimately you will succeed. Now, once you have done a lot of research work, then the objective, of course, PhD thesis is an objective, but publication of research paper is a compulsory component, has now become a compulsory component of your PhD thesis. So what is a scientific paper? A scientific paper is a written and published report describing original research results. It must be the first publication of original research results in a form whereby peers of the author can repeat the experiment and test the conclusions, and in a journal or other source document readily available within the scientific community. Now, in science, the credit goes to the man who convinces the world, not to the man to whom the idea first occurs. Say, for example, if you give certain noble and new idea, and I heard it, and I did some work on that idea, and I published in the form of a paper, then the entire world will know that it is my contribution. It is not your contribution. Therefore, publication is a must. And because of that, you see that now today, IPR, intellectual property right, has become a very important component of scientific research. In intellectual property right, there are many things, but the main things are patent, trademark, and copyright. So intellectual property right has become very important. So in science, the credit goes to the man who convinces the world, not to the man to whom the idea first occurs. Knowledge is lost without written record. If you Same happened with our Indian scientific contribution. We in ancient India have contributed a lot in scientific research, maybe particularly in chemistry also. But because there was no record, so we lost only by here and there. We could collect some information on our contribution in ancient days. So knowledge is lost without written records. Knowledge is awareness or understanding of someone or something, such as informations, descriptions, or skills, which is acquired through experience or education by discovering or learning. Why publish? Publishing is one of the necessary steps embedded in the scientific research process. It is also necessary for career progression. What to publish? New and original results or methods, reviews or summaries of particular subject, manuscript that advance the knowledge and understanding in a certain scientific field. What not to publish? Reports of no scientific interest, out of date work, duplication of previously published work, incorrect, unacceptable conclusions. You need a good manuscript to present to the scientific community. That is, your manuscript must be original, must be very good, written in a proper way. You see that there are a number of publishers who publishes scientific journals, books, and many other things. Out of those publishers, Elsevier is the biggest publishing house. After that, I think Springer, American, and many others are there. Taylor and Francis, Wiley and Sons, Hindley, MDPI, many others are there. But the 10% contribution or publication is by Elsevier. Solicit and manage submission, archive and promote use, publish and disseminate, production, edit and prepare. And you see that how many 9.8 million articles now available, 7,000 editors, 30 million researchers, 5 lakh reviewers, 450,000 new articles produced each year. So you can see that this Elsevier is the biggest publisher. When you write a paper, generally the paper is written as per guideline given by the journal, but almost every journal follows the same trend, maybe some difference. You have to write the title first, then author, author's affiliation, abstract, keyword, introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion, conclusions, acknowledgement and references. These are the components which the paper research article requires. Almost similar trend is obeyed by all the journal, but it varies from journal to journal. The most important thing in scientific research is ethics, ethical issues in research. If I define ethics in a very simple language, ethics is nothing but honesty. And it is also said many times, if you don't conceal anything, or if you don't tell lie, or if you don't fabricate anything, honestly what you have got or what you have done, and you present that, you report that, that is ethical. And the statement is, if you are saying truth, that is what you have got, that is the honest way. If you are saying the truth, you need not to remember. But if you are saying something wrong, fabricated, unethical, then you have to remember all the times. Because maybe that you said something here, on the other place you say something else. But if it is honest way, you will say the same thing everywhere. So international scientific ethics have evolved over centuries and are commonly held throughout the world. Scientific ethics are not considered to have national variants or characteristics. There is a single ethical standard for science. Ethics problems with scientific articles are on the rise globally. Proper citation of the earlier work, plagiarism, seek permission for reproduction, due acknowledgement to source. Principles of research ethics, as I said, you should be honest in every respect when you publish your research paper. Justice. Researchers should not place one group of people at risk solely for the benefit of others. Respect for research participants, respect for sponsors of research, respect for communities where participants come from. So all are related to your honesty. Plagiarism. Plagiarism is nothing but academic theft. If you conceal the ideas, data, writing of others, it is a type of plagiarism or similarity. So in general, we say it is an academic theft. If you are taking certain figure, table, matter, you must acknowledge, you must give a reference, and if you are taking some figure and table in your research work, you must take copyright permission. If you don't do that, it will be said that it is plagiarized. And University Grants Commission has issued certain guidelines for plagiarism. Only 10% is permissible. Above that, there are different slabs and different type of punishment are there. If the plagiarism or similarity is above 80%, your degree may be withdrawn. If you are a supervisor, you may even be terminated from your job, such type. But all these depend how your institution have taken into consideration all those rules. So this is all plagiarism. PhD thesis. Uh, in the words of Professor P. Balram, Professor P. Balram was the director of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and he wrote an article in Current Science in 2004. He was the editor, I think still he is the editor. PhD degree is a passport to a research career. So the PhD period often influences the research scholar to make or to break in a scientific career. Here one reaches the frontier of knowledge and begins in earnest the lifelong task of learning how to do research. As pointed out by Wesley and Jones during PhD course, ideally one learns how to pick a research problem, how to carry out it, how to extract new information from the result, and how to publish the findings to the scientific community. Thesis or PhD research inherently involves those aspects of subject that cannot be actually learned from textbooks or from lecture courses. It is the point where the values, traditions, and styles of science are transmitted from one generation to another. What is the PhD thesis? I think we have already discussed. Now, rules of research life. When you are doing PhD or you are a researcher, follow all these things and remember all these things. See failure as a beginning, not an end. If one plan fails, change the plan, but do not change the goal. Never stop learning. Assume nothing, question everything, discuss with others what you know, analyze objectively, practice humility, respect constructive criticism, take initiative, love what you do. All these things you must keep in your mind when you are doing a PhD work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Education is the powerful tool to change the world. Like this, Professor Singh has given quotes for the inspiration about education. Professor Singh says that the research is our prestige, so try to maintain its quality. Professor Singh given detailed information about different aspects of research and PhD. So I think it is very beneficial to our academicians and research scholars. So now it is open for discussion. So if anybody have any doubt or any query, so he can ask. You can ask now. Anybody? Now it is open to all. If anybody asks to ask any doubt, then he unmute his microphone and ask.
Should I ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Myself, Dr. Pankaj Kumar Singh from IIT BHU.
Yeah.
Sir, your presentation was really excellent. In the present scenario, what I found that the whole academic is mainly concerned to the research, project, publication, etc., rather than moving towards the getting knowledge and sharing with the students. Do you agree with that, sir?
You are 100% correct. You see that there was a time when we used to respect values and traditions. We learned from our teachers. If our teacher used to tell that they never tell lie for any benefit, we used to follow that. Now the things has changed and everybody is interested to get the benefit within a short period of time. Everything has become managerial. We used to say that if, let us say, if you have a mobile phone which is black in color and the customer wants to purchase a red color mobile phone, if you convince the customer that no, it is a red color, and if you convince the customer that the black mobile is red color, you are the best manager and you will earn a lot. Same thing has percolated in our scientific arena. Our leaders, whom we say scientific leaders or administrative leaders, they are not worrying for these type of things unless and until we take into consideration the quality research, honest research, ethical research, the country will never grow.
Thank you, sir.
Does anybody? Shilpa Gowde.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So this is Shilpa Gowde. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So, is there any criteria to do research work in any university? Is it different for every university? As you said,
you see that almost similar rules are there, but maybe, as I said, universities are autonomous institutions. They can change some of the things, but the normal steps which are followed in most of the universities are you must have a master degree with more than 55% of marks. For some category, it may be 50%, but not less than 50%. You have to appear for entrance examination. if you qualify the entrance examination, and if there is availability of seat, you can be admitted in the PhD program.
Yes. Thank you very
It may
much, sir.
vary a little bit from university to university.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, please go ahead.
Please.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Good
Sir,
evening.
this is Dr. Ghazala Parveen. I
Yeah.
would like to know about the plagiarism concept if someone is writing a review paper. So is it mandatory or like?
Yeah. You see that now there are number of softwares.
Yes, sir.
UGC has prescribed one software, Urkund, which is available freely at the internet, but that is not a good software. I'll say straightway. There is
Then
one
we can
software known as Turnitin. It's a very
just turn it.
Turnitin.
Yes,
It is
yes,
a very
I
good
have heard of it.
software, but it is a costly affair. You can't have the license. You can't purchase it. Your organization may have. Whether you write any review article or any research paper, you have to minimize the similarity. You see that there is a difference between similarity and plagiarism. If you steal the data, research data of anybody which has not been published or even published, it is plagiarism. But if you copy the writing of the person, pardon?
Hello.
Sir.
If you are copying the writing published in your own work without any modification, without any reference, it is similarity.
So
And
this is the same, like it should be less than 10%.
yes, it depends on journal to journal also, but no journal allows more than 20%.
Okay. All right.
But for
Next.
PhD thesis, it is 10%. It is
Okay.
UGC guideline.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Dr. Raymond Goswami. Raymond Goswami, you have to ask him. Yes, okay.
Yeah, please.
Sir, at first, it's my pronoun to hear you, sir. I have no question. I had so many questions, but you cleared everything along with tools, mechanism, research, etc. Sir, I have only one thing to say. May God give you a great health. So may you can inspire so many students in near future. I have nothing to say. I just only give you a thanks, sir. It is my privilege to hear you from the deep core of my heart, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. You have given me so much without saying anything.
Sir, I have also one compliment for you,
Yeah,
sir.
please,
Really, I
please.
salute your stamina, sir. These
But,
days, sir, you are really.
Of course, sir. Of
for
course,
2
your
hours,
stamina,
sir.
I'm not
Hours
stamina
lecture.
is much powerful.
I have not seen saluting you just by saying.
Sir, see. Very nice, sir. Very informative lecture, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you are one of the best pillar. You are the best pillar for the upcoming generation.
How old are you?
I am 32 years, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely right.
But do you know my age?
Maybe, sir, 70, in between 70 or 80.
75
No,
plus.
I am 29 years old.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Logically, you are right. Because your stamina proves it
So
true.
you are elder to me.
Yes, sir. Your stamina proves it true that you are much younger than me.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, again, anybody has any doubt about their research or PhD research scholars?
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
Miss, I have a question.
yeah, please.
Like, how to build up a good rapport in between you and your guide? Suppose, like, you're not much aware of your guide's work previously, then.
You see that it all depends. If you are knowledgeable and your supervisor is also knowledgeable and honest, both of you should be knowledgeable and should be honest in all the respect, then you can have a good rapport between your supervisor. Say for example, if I am your supervisor and I am interested in doing good quality research work, and I want that your research contributions should be published in a good research journal. For that, you give me good quality data, good quality literature, good interpretation, which I can polish, give some idea, my own idea, then there will be a good rapport between you and me. But if I am a dishonest supervisor and you are a good researcher, then there may be some misunderstanding. Or I am a good supervisor and you are not a good student. Again, you want just some benefit without doing anything. Again, there will be misunderstanding. So if both of you are honest academicians, then there will be good rapport between the student and the supervisor.
Thank
Okay,
you
next.
so much.
Okay. Nusrat Siddiqui.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Madam
good afternoon.
Siddiqui,
First of
good
all,
afternoon, good afternoon.
sir, I would like to thank the organization for arranging a
Miss,
session like
Madam,
this, a
Madam,
workshop.
Madam
Yes, sir.
Siddiqui,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
whenever I hear the word good afternoon, I remember one incident which happened with me.
Yes, sir.
If everybody understands Hindi, then I will say that in Hindi.
सर जरूर बोलिए ना.
अच्छा, मैं गोरखपुर में था तो मेरे एक रिलेशन की चिट्ठी लेकर एक लड़का आया, साहब मैं फेल हो गया हूँ, किसी कॉलेज में था, अब मुझे पास करा दीजिए. तो मैंने उससे कहा कि भाई कौन कौन सा सब्जेक्ट लिए थे, तो उसने एक तो इंग्लिश बताया, एक और कोई सब्जेक्ट बताया. तो मैंने कहा भाई पहले आए होते तो मैं किसी एग्जामिनर से कहता, लेकिन अब तो तुम्हारा रिजल्ट निकल गया, मार्कशीट बन गई और अब हम तो नहीं कुछ कर सकते हैं. तो वो जैसे शरारती लड़के होते, अरे नहीं सर आप कर सकते हैं, पैर वैर पकड़ना. हमने कहा कि अब इससे तो पिंड छुड़ाना है. तो हमने कहा अच्छा ऐसा करिए आप कि आफ्टरनून में आप मुझसे मिलिए. उसने कहा था कि उसने बीए में इंग्लिश पढ़ा है, तो मैंने उससे कहा आफ्टरनून में मुझसे मिलिए. तो उसने कहा कि सर ये आफ्टरनूनवा है कहाँ. तो मैंने सोचा अब कहाँ तुम खोजोगे, यहीं आ जाना. तो जब भी मैं आफ्टरनून सुनता हूँ तो मुझे वो घटना याद आ जाती है. चलिए आप बोलिए.
ठीक सर. नहीं सर, आपने स्टार्टिंग में भी बताया था गोरखपुर से हैं, तो गोरखपुर से सर मैं भी हूँ, समझ लीजिए. तो काफी अच्छा लगा जी. जाफरा बाजार सर. जी.
इस समय कहाँ पर हैं आप?
अभी इस समय तो सर मुंबई में. मेरा ननिहाल जाफरा बाजार गोरखपुर से है सर.
अच्छा, चलिए.
हाँ, तो वहाँ आना जाना रहता है. सर मुझे पूछना ये था कि हम जब लिटरेचर रिव्यू लिखते हैं तो उसमें क्या क्या चीजें हमको इंक्लूड करना रहता है कि ये चीजें पॉइंटर्स रहना चाहिए कि ये रिव्यू में हमने ये चीजें देखी थी, मतलब मेथोडोलॉजी लिखना है, ऑब्जेक्टिव लिखना है, कि सिर्फ फाइंडिंग्स ही अपने उन वर्ड्स में लिखना है. तो लिटरेचर रिव्यू में हमें क्या देखना होगा और क्या लिखना होगा सर?
नहीं, आप रिव्यू आर्टिकल लिखने की बात कर रही हैं या
लिटरेचर रिव्यू की सर? जो थीसिस में हम लिटरेचर रिव्यू करते हैं ना, रिलेटेड लिटरेचर रिव्यू थीसिस के लिए, उसकी बात कर रही हूँ सर.
आप पीएचडी कर ली हैं?
जी सर.
कहाँ से की हैं?
जी सर, मैं मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी से कर रही हूँ और मेरा एजुकेशन सब्जेक्ट में है सर।
अच्छा, एजुकेशन में है
जी।
वहाँ मेरे एक दोस्त थे, अब तो रिटायर हो गए हैं, प्रोफेसर AK श्रीवास्तव केमिस्ट्री में, लेकिन अभी यूनिवर्सिटी में जाते हैं।
जी।
AK श्रीवास्तव। एनीवे,
अच्छा।
जो आप करना चाहती हैं, जो मेथोडोलॉजी इस्तेमाल कर रही हैं, जो इंस्ट्रूमेंट इस्तेमाल कर रही हैं या करना चाहती हैं, जो आप एक्सपेक्ट करती हैं कि ये फाइंडिंग्स होंगी, आप लिटरेचर में वो सब देखिए। जैसे आपने आपका कोई टॉपिक आप हमको बताइए तो मैं स्पेसिफिक बताऊं।
सर मेरा जो टॉपिक है सर वो लीडरशिप के ऊपर है, स्कूल लीडरशिप के ऊपर।
लीडरशिप इन एजुकेशन, लेट अस से लीडरशिप इन एजुकेशन। तो अब लीडरशिप इन एजुकेशन में आप तमाम रिसर्च पेपर्स, रिव्यू आर्टिकल सर्च करिए
जी,
और उसमें देखिए लीडरशिप का मतलब क्या है, लीडरशिप को डिसाइड करने के लिए क्या क्या स्टेप इन्वॉल्व हुए हैं, क्या स्टैटिस्टिकल टूल इस्तेमाल हुआ है, क्या सैंपल साइज है, एजुकेशन में लीडरशिप के लिए क्या कोई यूनिवर्सिटी को चूज किया है, प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटी, गवर्नमेंट यूनिवर्सिटी, कॉलेज या स्कूल किसको चूज किए हैं, और क्या रिजल्ट्स आया है, क्या इंटरप्रिटेशन दिया है। अब आप अपनी बुद्धि भी लगाइए कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन दिया गया है या पाया गया है वो आपको सही लग रहा है कि गलत लग रहा है। अगर आपको गलत लग रहा है, इन ए सिस्टमेटिक वे, इन ए साइंटिफिक वे, इन ए रियल वे, तब तो आप कहिए कि दिस रिक्वायर्स फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन, और तब उसको बेस बना करके आप अपना आगे का काम शुरू करें।
ठीक 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 है सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। और आपका सेशन भी बहुत अच्छा था सर, इंफॉर्मेटिव था। मतलब थैंक यू तो बहुत छोटा लफ्ज होगा सर आज के सेशन के लिए, बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव सेशन दिया है सर आपने।
गोरखपुर का और वो भी जाफरा बाजार का थैंक यू हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ा है।
अरे नहीं सर, मेरा ननिहाल है सर, वहाँ पे आना होगा। आप बताइए कहाँ आप हैं तो इंशाल्लाह मुलाकात करेंगे आपसे भी।
नहीं,
अगर आप वहाँ पे हैं तो।
और देखिए इस समय पूरे हिंदुस्तान में गोरखपुर छाया हुआ है योगी आदित्यनाथ।
जी जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
हेलो सर।
हाँ,
मैं ऑडिबल सर?
या बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
सर, पहले तो आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ। आपने इतनी अच्छी स्पीच दिया है, वो मेरा तो बहुत अच्छा लगा है, इसलिए पहले आपको मेरे तरफ से बहुत सारा थैंक्स। सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था।
एक बात सुनिए, आपने ये जो कहा कि मैं बहुत अच्छा स्पीच या भाषण दिया हूँ, यही नहीं कहा आपने?
ये हाँ, भाषण नहीं सर, आपका स्पीच मतलब।
अरे स्पीच का हिंदी भाषण ही हुआ। अगर मोदी जी सुन लेंगे तो हमारी खैर नहीं होगी।
ओके, जो भी हो सर। सर एक बात बताना था, मैं रिसर्च में बहुत इंटरेस्ट हूँ, लेकिन मुझे कैसे आगे बढ़ूं मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता, क्योंकि मुझे नए नए रिसर्च करने के लिए बहुत इच्छुक हूँ, और उसके यदि कोई आगे कोई काम नहीं किया हो तो मैं उसे कैसे आगे ले जा सकती हूँ?
What is your subject? What is your subject?
Anthropology, sir.
Anthropology is a part of sociology, no?
Yes, sir.
It is a part of sociology?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You see that sociology is a difficult subject. People consider that sociology is just a social science and nothing else. But if you can contribute much more in sociology, it will be a great achievement. I think he is no more. There was one Professor Yogendra Singh in JNU. He died, I think, 1 or 2 years before. He was a great sociologist of the country. And even today, there are a lot of people who are working or contributing a lot in the area of sociology and anthropology. And anthropology is the need of the day, because people have different motive, different options, different interests, and sociology is one subject which can make the people to work in a right direction. So you must contact someone who is knowledgeable in the area and who can guide you for doing further research.
Okay, if anybody asks to their queries, then they will write to sir on his email. So now I invite Professor Gurnule sir.
इसके पहले कि गुरनुरे साहब धन्यवाद दें, मैं डॉक्टर पंकज सिंह से बात करना चाहता हूं.
अच्छा, ओके सर.
डॉक्टर पंकज सिंह, आप कहाँ बीएचयू में हैं, कहाँ पर हैं?
सर आईआईटी बीएचयू में है सर.
किस सब्जेक्ट में सिंह साहब?
सर बायोकेमिकल इंजीनियरिंग से संबंधित है सर.
अच्छा, बायोकेमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में. हमारे एक दोस्त वहाँ केमिस्ट्री में है, मंडल साहब.
हाँ है सर, है
केडी मंडल.
केडी मंडल सर है.
और हमारे गुरु जी की एक भतीजी थी, वो तो रिटायर हो गई, रश्मि रस्तोगी है थी ना. आपने आप कब से हैं वहाँ?
मैं सर 2008 से हूँ सर.
तब तो थी वो रश्मि, और एक पीसी पांडे होंगे केमिस्ट्री में.
हाँ वो तो है, केमिस्ट्री में है, वो केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं. केमिकल
इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं. चलिए कभी बीएचयू आते हैं तो आप.
केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में मंडल सर हैं.
मंडल सर केमिस्ट्री में केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग में नहीं.
अच्छा,
देखिए बीएचयू का नहीं, केडी मंडल है, वो केमिस्ट्री में है.
ठीक है, केमिस्ट्री में है सर.
केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग तो बीएचयू का बहुत मशहूर डिपार्टमेंट रहा है. पहले जब आईआईटी नहीं थी, बीएचयू वाज नोन बिकॉज ऑफ टू डिसिप्लिन, केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग एंड मेटलर्जी. अब तो बहुत जगह मेटलर्जी होगा, नहीं तो ऑल ओवर द कंट्री मेटलर्जिकल इंजीनियर्स वेयर द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी. और ये आपके केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग के प्रोफेसर, नाम मुझे भूल रहा, तिवारी या क्या नाम था, जो हेड थे, डीन थे, लखनऊ में वाइस चांसलर हुए थे. नहीं, आप जानते होंगे, पहले थे वो. ठीक है, थैंक यू. हम आएंगे बनारस तो कभी आपसे सिंह साहब मिलेंगे.
स्वागत है अगर आएंगे तो.
वो हम उनको जानते हैं, आपके धनंजय पांडे जी हमारे अच्छे जानकार हैं.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, वो धनंजय पांडे साहब तो डायरेक्टर भी रह चुके हैं.
हाँ, डायरेक्टर रहे हैं. उनके बड़े भाई हमसे 1 साल सीनियर थे.
मटेरियल साइंस में है सर वो.
हाँ, मटेरियल साइंस.
Okay, sir. Okay, so now I invite Gurnule sir for concluding the session and for vote of thanks. Gurnule sir.
Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes,
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Today, just Professor N.B. Singh has given some aspect of the scientific research, and many things have explained, and the session was very, very informative and useful to all the researcher, including research scholar and teachers also. So in case of research, why to do research, what are the things in the research, that is the research should be in good quality. So for that, the innovative research should be there. So all these things, so the innovative research should be new, it should be a different, should be better and cheaper. So all these aspects about the innovative research was given by Professor N.B. Singh, and all these innovative research is for the development of the society or for the findings of new things. So as we know, what is research and how the researcher doing research. So there should be some commitment to the research area, and research is not only for the finding new things, and for this good quality research, one should have to focus on the hypothesis. As sir have given detail regarding the hypothesis, what are the sources of hypothesis, what are the types of hypothesis like directional hypothesis, non-directional, associative, causal, and null hypothesis, explained with very well examples. And after that, sir have also explained what is research design, what is the good research, and what are the good research design have been explained very well. And again now explain how to do research for the research scholar, what is PhD and what is philosophy and DSc, and what are the criteria for this degree for doing the research work. As we know, research and its advantages are there, and there should be a, while doing the research, initially there was a basic research, after that applied research, and then development is there in the research. So all these step by step explained by Professor Singh. And important part of this session is the how to select the problem, what are the sources of research problem, and consideration in selecting the problems, and formulation of the research problem. All these detail given about this selection, because this is the first step of selection of research problem, and explained in detail with the example by Professor Singh. And one more important thing was explained in today's session is that how to do the literature survey. And what is in case of literature survey, it is a very must and very important part of the research. So literature review, literature survey regarding our research or regarding our degree, how to be carried out in a proper way. And there are some questions, but we can resolve or we can solve that problem by this literature review. And there are different ways to collect the data, that is literature review data. Number of sources are there, aids are there. All these aids, all these things have been explained well. Now, as we know, research is very hard, involve risk also, and much longer. So we should have some courage while doing the research. One should have some courage, so then he can get success in that. So the important part in case of scientific paper also explained very well. And while writing the research paper, it should be an original result, unpublished result. And important is the writing is very, very important. And while writing the scientific paper, one should have to remember what is plagiarism and what is the similarity. So what is the difference between similarity and plagiarism is also been explained. And I think the participants have benefited by all these things explained by the Professor Singh. So once the researcher completed the research work, then he should have to publish the paper in a good quality journal, a reputed journal like Elsevier, John Wiley, or Springer, or Royal Society, or so many journals are there, SCR journals, or Elsevier, or Scopus Index journals. So this is the last part. But now again, sir have explained what is the ethics in the research. So principle of research ethics and what is the ethics in the research have been explained well with the example, by taking some examples. So I am very, very thankful to you, sir, Professor NB Singh, sir. Thank you for this very informative, wonderful, and very detailed explanation regarding the research, and very good presentation, sir. So, and important part, with your age, you have given more than 130 minutes presentation. So it is an even younger person or researcher can also be not possible for them. But now you are given these more than 130 minutes presentation here. So very thankful to you, sir. On behalf of Kamala Nehru Mahavidyalaya, I am very thankful to you, and on behalf of organizing committee, and also personally, I am very thankful to you, sir, for this wonderful and informative session and presentations. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Popula, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before, sir, we are taking one photograph, okay? Second photograph, okay? So all the participants requested to switch on your video camera.